Well, welcome in everybody to this special live stream in November here of 2024. Good to see everybody. I'm going to pull up some comments. Let me double check and make sure we are live. I think we're live. All right. We'll give a couple minutes for everyone to file in here, but I'm excited to talk some shop and just have a casual time to chat here with you guys. So I'm running this through Ecamm Live. For those who do any sort of streaming, you may have heard of Ecamm Live. So let me pull up a couple settings on my end to make sure I can pull up your questions. And then we're going to have some fun in this one, guys. This is a casual Q&A session, so I will be down to answer any questions you have about web design, the business of web design. If you want to talk about any trends that are going on right now, anything in the way of... We're in an interesting time of year right now because there's still kind of a great window to push for final projects to get going. But as we all know, when things get busy around the holidays, it can be harder and harder to pull clients in. And usually most clients wait until the new year to start projects. So happy to explore some revenue boost strategies. And also, as I put down in the description, there's quite a few hot topics we've been talking about inside of my community, Web Designer Pro, that I would be more than happy to share here. Good to see you, Kelly. Good to see you once again. You as well, Kelly. Great to see you. Mark Hyde's in the house. Good to see you, man. Derek's in the house. Very good to see you. Heyo, says Derek. First comment of the day. Derek said, how tall is your living room ceiling? Your Christmas tree looks huge. Yes, so thank you, Derek. On the socials, I posted we got our Christmas tree up right after Halloween this year. That's becoming the norm. For those who have a lot of kids, I know Mark's here who has many a child living with them. 8, right, Mark? The weeks just go by so fast. So we found that like having a tree up for 2 months feels more like 2 weeks when you've got several kids. So that's kind of what we experienced. So anyway, we've been setting up early for Christmas this year. Our ceiling is 20 feet tall in the main room. So we do have a 5-level split house. So yeah, nice big old ceiling. Pros and cons to that, by the way. Pros and cons. Awesome. Jamin, welcome in. Just listening to your podcast. Got the email alert. Great to see you, Jamin. Welcome into this live stream. Good to see you. Mark says, what are the common ceilings? Nicely done, Mark. That you have discovered that most web designers hit on their way to 7 figures. Well, with 7 figures, we'll keep this up here. It is interesting because 7 figures is very different than what it takes to get to about 400,000 or 500,000 as far as a small studio or agency. 7 figures is definitely a mix of, and we'll go annual. Now, 7 figures total is a different ballgame because if you make a $250,000 business, then only going to take you, 4 years of that to hit 7 figures. But if we're going 7 figures annually, what I've found with the folks that I know in that realm they are either a full-blown agency and have a decent team managing a lot of different projects and every one of their roles defined, and a lot of them have very, very productized services. Recurring revenue is also a big one for 7 figures agencies. And in the case of let's see, I interviewed Greg Merrilees of Studio One Design. Let me pull them up real quick. Studio One Design. Let's see. Here we go. So I had Greg here on the podcast. Actually, let me go ahead and share the screen real quick, and then we'll look at this. So we'll bring Leighton's question up here next because he got a first question in. But if you guys want to go to studioOneDesign.com, I'll drop this in the chat. This is a full-blown 7-figure agency. Greg Merrilees I had on the show a little while ago. They have a wide spectrum of services, but he also has a big team. But one thing he has done pretty well, in most cases, anyone at 7 figures has either a very, very productized service that's templatized and not overly reliant on custom intensive time, or their systems are so nailed down that they're able to take on bigger scale or you just have much larger price points. So those are kind of all the things that are going in to 7-figure businesses that I've seen for sure. As far as the common ceilings you mentioned, Mark, the pitfalls, I think a lot of it is being a proud solopreneur. And actually, most cases, I would say that's the case. It's what we all struggle with because we're the web designer. We're doing all the things. Being a very proud and good solopreneur, it's kind of a gift and a curse. Being a really good person who can do all the things. So you kind of have to, you almost have to let the technician in you, you don't have to kill it immediately, but you've got to become an owner. You really have to become a business owner at that level because you're likely not going to be doing a lot of the work at a 7-figure level. Those are a couple common ceilings. Great question to kick us off, Mark. Design with Fergie. Good to see you, Fergie. Welcome in. Yeah, we've got a lot of web designer pros here. The 250K mark, says Mark. I think the common hurdles to 250 is similar. I've found that once you get to 6 figures, 100,000 annually, the next step of course is 250 in most cases. And typically it's similar in the way of you don't need a productized service to get to 250, but you definitely need to have your systems and processes nailed down. Mark, you are in a good place to get to this point for sure with how refined you're making your services and your offers. The same principles that I have for getting to 6 figures, which is to write it out on a spreadsheet and to make sure your pricing aligns with what you actually need to get as far as revenue. The same thing goes for 250. If you are charging $5,000 to $10,000 for websites, that's good to get you to 6 figures if that's your main source of income on custom projects. However, 250, your 5,000 needs to be the starting point, and then it's going to be 10 to 15K likely for projects or more growth plans that are doing a lot more recurring services. And in most cases, you're going to have a bigger client pool and you're going to be offering, again, more than just website. I mean, you can get to website, you can get up to 250 if you're charging 10, 15, 20K for website designs. But in most cases, those are going to need to have more than just a pretty design per se. You're going to need to be more conversion focused, copy focused, and have some of the best practice that get there to the 250 range. Hey, Ashley, good to see you. Ashley, happy to catch this one. Well, Ashley, you're a pro member. Do Tuesdays not work out for you? We usually do our weekly pro coaching calls on Tuesdays, but if Thursday works for you, we are going to be doing more of these AMAs here on YouTube as well for everybody. So Derek says, I love your shirt. I still have my teal shirt. Awesome, Derek. Yes, I know you picked up a teal Web Designer Pro shirt. Very, very cool. If you guys don't know, we do have pro swag. I would recommend, even if you're not a pro member yet, I would recommend getting some pro swag because a lot of members, including myself, have got leads. I got a lead literally wearing this t-shirt at a coffee shop the week after I got it. This guy, when you can tell that somebody's just been looking at you, you've got eyes on you. That's kind of what I felt like. And then sure enough, this dude came over, he was a realtor and was like, hey, I saw your shirt. I actually just talked with a client of mine who needs website help. And then I got a lead from my agency in transit. So I would recommend it. If you haven't yet, you can go. I just posted the link, but you're welcome to pick up some swag. And I will say, even if you're not yet a member, first of all, you can purchase some swag. And not only as a lead generator, but these things are good quality. They are really, really comfortable. So I'd recommend it. We've got some t-shirts, we've got some hoodies, we've got a coffee mug sticker, and we'll be adding more and more moving forward. But yeah, I would recommend picking up some swag for the sake of leads and for the sake of comfort. All right, let me try to get caught up in the chat, and then I am going to jump over to Leighton's question. Actually, let's look at Leighton's question first because he is a member of Pro and sent this in, so I want to make sure we jump on this one. So let me share. I'm working with my new, there we go. Okay, so Leighton's question real quick. This is from a member of Web Designer Pro, one of our newest members, actually. I know it's been discussed many times. Appreciate your podcast episodes on it, but honestly, how critical is accessibility? And who's on the hook if there's a lawsuit? The website company owner or the website designer? I've seen Divi is ranking low amongst page builders for accessibility and fixing these issues. Yes, Leighton is a Divi user, as am I. But these accessibility issues are not just a few clicks away. What's your current take on this? Great question here, Leighton. So I wrote a newsletter about this not too long ago where my take on this is that accessibility is important for sure. I mean, The good news is the basics of accessibility can be done on just about every website with just good navigation, basic HTML best practices. Color contrast is actually one of the biggest deal breakers for accessibility. So as long as you are really putting an emphasis on color contrast and buttons and usability of the website, actually good design principles are a form of accessibility. So all those things are the basics of accessibility. So as long as you have those main aspects covered from a design perspective, you're already on the right track. The other level back on that is alt text on images and just good structure with the actual content. Those, in most cases, I'm no accessibility expert, but in most cases, that's going to alleviate most all of your issues with accessibility. Now, per the advanced stuff, the reason I mentioned my newsletter is I've felt more recently there's a bit of a pull and a tug between accessibility, privacy, optimization, and conversion. The big four. I call it in the newsletter I have, it's called the big four at war. And the reason I say that is if you do a lot for conversion, for example, if you do video backgrounds that are really high converting, then that's going to affect optimization and could affect accessibility. If you go really ham on optimization and speed, you may affect accessibility with that, with plugins and other caching and stuff like that. If you are really focused on privacy, you will absolutely affect some aspects of accessibility and optimization and even conversion. And if you go really far on accessibility, you may affect conversion and optimization. So these are all pieces that are kind of pulling and tugging on each other. I don't know of like the dream website that is perfect for every one of these. If it is, it's going to be something that is a very, very expensive website, quite frankly, to be able to do all these things equally. But my rule of thumb with this is that you prioritize one of those four. If you are working in an industry that is working with people with low, like vision problems or disabled folks or people with special needs, then accessibility is absolutely priority one. So before you even worry about high conversions or optimization or speed, accessibility, key. If you are working in a sector that needs a lot of privacy, and that's the big thing, then privacy is the kind of the hierarchy of needs there, then accessibility, et cetera. You want to have the basis covered on all those, but in my experience, it is kind of a pull. It's kind of a give and get on all of those. So to Leighton's question, it is important, but the reality that we also live in a real world where clients have real budgets. And as long as you have the basics covered, good design principles, good HTML principles covered, and you've got alt text on images and some of the SEO related things, then you're good. Good to see everybody here. Jeremy's in the house. Good to see you, my man. Yeah, Drama, good to see you. All right, Justin's in the house here with WebLogic. Can you discuss mindset ceilings? I think we can overthink these ceilings. Yeah, you're totally right, Justin. I mean, this is actually, I think mindset is maybe the most important thing that not only holds people back in web design, but also keep people from moving forward, because it literally is all about mindset. I mean, mindset affects everything. Mindset affects how you sell. It affects your confidence. It affects your energy and how you go day to day. People sense how you're feeling. So if you go to a BNI networking group and you're not in a good mindset, and we're all human, we all struggle with this. There's days where like we're on it. There's days where we're not. It is very, very challenging. So I think there's like behavioral mindset stuff, but there's also a lot of big mindset blocks like pricing. We all have a money story, and I've talked about this a lot on my podcast and here on the YouTube channel, but like I just come from a working class, kind of middle to low income family. Like, so I had the thought of the $100,000, I thought I would have been, in a yacht. Like that was my thought on money mindset. Now $100,000 is like, cool, we can actually pay medical bills. So your money mindset changes as inflation continues and as your life progresses and as more bills come in. Like that'll breed some confidence with your pricing when you're like, all right, I've got a lot of bills. Yeah, $1,000 for a website isn't going to cut it. So there's a lot of that too, where your mindset kind of grows with you, I feel like, Justin, but you can absolutely force the issue and be proactive on mindset. So I think pricing, to your particular question on ceilings, then we'll get to some other questions that have come in. A lot of good questions. Wow, guys, trying to get caught up on the chat here. I think mindset, like money mindset, is a big ceiling. Gosh, what are some other ones? I mean, a lot of them are like your self-worth. Like you feel like you should. A lot of people become successful and make some money, and then you feel like you're like, wow, I didn't earn this, or I didn't deserve this. Let me tell you, my friends, you absolutely earned it and deserved it with you working your ass off as a web designer. So when you do land a big old $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 project, or you do cross six figures, or you are on track for $250,000, $500,000 business, you earn every penny of that. So I hope that's a good reminder for everybody. Great question, Justin. All right, guys. Derek says, what do you want for Christmas, material otherwise? Yeah, I really, I don't need anything. Honestly, just like an extended date night. We have 3 young kiddos, so childcare, we have family nearby, but, yeah, just like, maybe an extra date night. That would be great. Just, time to get away a little bit. Side note, speaking of mindset, I feel a little off today, speaking of mindset, and speaking of kids, how was your guys' morning? Because I'll tell you how my morning went. My wife and I woke up, and there was a loud knocking on the door, and it was the cops. The police were at our door. So like, what the heck? And Drexton, my oldest, who just turned 2, and then Bria, my oldest, they had snuck off, locked themselves in our guest bathroom, and turned the water on. So the water was rushing into the tub. They were soaked, and Drex had my phone and called the cops 5 times. So we had to let them know everything's fine. Anywho, all that to say, that's how my morning got started this morning. So if there's anything that you want to get to jump out of bed, that'll do it. Hope your guys' morning was a little easier going than that. Yeah, Kelly was a product pro for several months. Oh, well, thank you, Kelly. Well, we're excited to have you back. For those who didn't see, the link is below, but I did announce that we now have tiers. So there are a few different levels to Web Designer Pro. I'm happy to walk you through that if you guys have questions. But you can now get access to my entire suite of courses, or you can get access to the courses in my community. Or if you would like to have everything and have coaching with me directly, that is the top tier that is available for you. So it's available for you now. We do have stickers. Derek, I think you asked this before I showed the pro swag page. So we do have stickers. They could be on your bumper too. Heck yeah. Oh, thank you, Carolyn from Birdview says, oh, I appreciate that, Carolyn. One of our longest standing members. Thank you guys for the pro love. All right, guys, let me get to some other questions. So Ashley said, always have to miss the 2 p.m. ones on our Web Designer Pro coaching calls. Gotcha. They're always so great. Hate to miss. Well, the good news is, Ashley, you can join anytime. Of course, the replays are up. And for those who don't know, I've made this available for every single tier on Web Designer Pro, even if you just want to join the coaching or the courses level, the Pro podcast feed is now live. So when you join Pro, you will get an automatic invite right here to the Pro podcast. This has every single one of our coaching call replays, live trainings. I mean, this is worth just joining the course level right here, just with the amount of, I mean, it's almost like a secondary podcast. It is. It's every single one of our coaching calls. If you're not ready to join at the coaching level for Web Designer Pro, you can join the courses level and get all my coaching indirectly through the replays. So highly recommend that for those who don't know about that. Awesome, guys. Leighton says, appreciate considering the accessibility question. Heck yeah, Leighton. Great question. Again, I know it's a hot topic. The reality is I would go as far as you can. And then, of course, if clients ask about it, offer to do more as long as, they're paying you to do it. The other thing you could do too is have an accessibility statement on your site where you basically say that you are doing as much as you can in the package that you provide for them, that clients can always pay more. I meant to ask or answer this too late, and you had wondered who's responsible for a lawsuit with accessibility. It is on the client side. Now, I'm no lawyer, so consult with your lawyer. But for from what I've seen, it is always the client's responsibility, not the actual web designers. But definitely want to make sure that you do all you can. Yep. You got it. Based in the house. Sam, welcome in. Sam just crossed 6 figures with his web design business. So way to go, Sam. I know we're public about that, Sam. We talked about it on the podcast, so I just want to give you a public round of applause there. Sam has been absolutely killing it. Sam was on the podcast recently talking about local SEO, so definitely recommend checking that out if you haven't already. Yeah, Divi 5 looks to be, they're doing a lot of improvements with accessibility that's kind of behind the scenes. It's not going to be something flashy. If you'll notice, those of you who use Divi, all of the improvements on Divi are on the builder itself, and they're not worried about features yet. Features will be next. Oh, thank you, Sam. Yeah, if you guys, if you don't know, you can sign up for my newsletter. It's free every week. Every Sunday, I send a newsletter out. It's like free coaching. So if you're not on my newsletter yet, jump on it, friends. Free coaching. All right, let's get to some more questions here. Hey, Howard, good to see you. What are the essential tools and processes needed to go from a freelancer to a business owner? You need my scaling course. That would help. The tools themselves and processes, everything that you do as a solopreneur, this is a really good question, because everything you do as a solopreneur will translate to being an owner. I think it's actually a really good progression to go from freelancer to solopreneur to owner, because as a freelancer, you're learning your craft, you know your tools, you learn your tool stack. As a solopreneur, you're refining your tool stack and your processes and your systems. And as an owner, now it's time to delegate, automate, and scale. And scale doesn't mean you need to become a 20-person digital marketing agency with a downtown location and overhead. It just simply means that you're not doing all the things. So I actually don't know, Howard, if it's as much about the tools and the processes as mindset, like we talked about a little bit ago. Mindset is actually one of the most important things. Case in point, when you are really good at being a solopreneur web designer, you're going to be tempted to continue to do all the things. But when you're focusing on your business, you almost have to give yourself a role, like you are the owner, you're the business owner. And when a quick edit comes in or a client needs a quick fix, you could do it. You could jump into WordPress and fix it probably in 5 or 10 minutes, but you have to say, as the owner, hands off. I've got to give this to my team. Also, you're taking work away from the people you're working with if that's the setup you have as far as contractors go. So yeah, great question, Howard. I think it's more about the mindset of being an owner and working on your business more than in the business. Tools and processes, you continue to refine those, and then those become your business. It's not all in your mind. It's out on an SOP and documents, and that's the way to go about it. I'm going to try to keep my answers pretty quick because we have a growing list of questions here. So I'll try to keep my answers within a minute or 10. Marco, should I present myself as a freelancer or agency? And then what is the most effective marketing strategy at the start? In most cases, I've found a happy medium between freelancer and agency is you can say we, and it would just be who do you collaborate with? Do you have contractors? Even if you have one partner or one friend, web designer friend who helps out on projects, then technically you could be the hybrid, which is we. It's you. Marco is the founder, CEO, head honcho, whatever your title is. But then you've got a small team of collaborators that work with you. It's generally the way I recommend going. Now, there's nothing wrong with saying I and me, but if you're starting to work with serious businesses, they will wonder, like, how busy is Marco? Can he take on our project that's really big along with other ones? So in most cases, if I were starting today, I would say we, but I would just have a team of collaborators. And if you do bring on consistent team members, have them on there. And side note, when you guys join my community, Web Designer Pro, that's the benefit of that, because immediately you have a network of people and you can say, like, I am in a web design community, and even when we need assistance or get stuck or have an area that we don't cover, we have a plethora of people that we work with. So That's how I would do the freelancer versus agency talk, Marco. And then as far as the most effective marketing strategy, totally up to you, what you feel comfortable doing. There's kind of two different lanes of marketing, in person and online. I've always found, I've experienced myself, and a lot of the members that I see that go really far, really fast are doing in-person networking. It still is, to date, the best way to go fast as far as getting clients, because you're building real connections, real people, and then your network will just spread like wildfire. When you go to a BNI meeting of 25 people, suddenly you're now in with all their networks as well. So I would really recommend doing anything you can in person in the way of networking, and then go online from there, unless you just want to go online, which is always possible through being in forums, being in groups, being super helpful, posting content, either on socials or YouTube. If it were me, if I were to go in person, I would join a networking group. I would join a BNI group. If I were to do online, I would start a YouTube channel, and I would post tutorials on the tools that I'm using and that I know, because that will bring in clients. Great. Yeah. Great tip here. The Laws of Success by Napoleon Hill. I haven't actually read that, but I'll have to check that out. Hey, David, easy question for you. Is the website build part of your CSS course still valid with the new releases of Divi? So I am going to be updating both my Divi beginner course and some lessons in the CSS course. It's actually all still valid. The CSS course is actually just basic CSS principles. With the new release of Divi 5.0, once it officially drops, it will look slightly different on where you put a couple aspects of it, but I will update a few lessons that need to be updated in that one. My Divi beginner course is going to go through a complete revamp here. So yeah, we'll take care of that. And all legacy students who have lifetime access to my courses, because now they're all available in Pro, but I will be updating those. That way legacy students will always have the course you purchased. Chantel with a great question here. Offering blog writing in 2025. Way to go, Chantel. Do I mention this on the discovery call for websites or after I'm done with them? I would say it's kind of a case-by-case basis. It may depend on the strategy of the client. If the client is really interested in ongoing copy work and stuff, then I would say, yeah, we actually offer ongoing growth plans or growth services through content and copywriting. But it kind of depends on what they would need first. I would start with the website, and then if they're asking about that, then say that's absolutely something we do, but I wouldn't hone in on that. I would put the focus on the website as the entire strategy, and then kind of add that in as either an upsell at the end, an add-on, or if you wanted to go more of the like roadmap route, you could give them a roadmap to design the site within 1 or 2 months, and then get to work on content in like a 12-month roadmap, which would be more of a growth plan approach. So those are kind of a couple ways you could go about that. Yeah, clients have a problem with marketing in general after their website is built. Exactly. And look, the danger of this is you have to decide, are you going to be a web design studio or a marketing studio? Now, the good news is you can do aspects of marketing for clients that you enjoy. So if you enjoy blog posting and SEO for clients, that could be your growth service. But if you don't want to do social media and other forms of marketing, just make it really clear what you do. But I would recommend that everybody do some sort of marketing service, not being a digital marketing agency, but a marketing service. I'm just seeing the comments now about my story this morning. So yes, for anyone who just joined, we had a bit of a wild morning. The cop showed up because Drexton, my little guy who just turned 2, took my phone this morning and called 911 5 times in a row. And him and his sister locked themselves in our bathroom and turned the water on. Good times at the household. Who knows what's going to happen? Sam, I am using Ecamm, and the way it works is with Ecamm, you can stream live directly to YouTube, and YouTube pulls in all the comments. And within Ecamm, this only works with YouTube. This doesn't work with Circle or other platforms, but currently, unless there's another add-on I don't know about, but with Ecamm, I'm streaming through here. It's going to YouTube, and I'm actually seeing the comments on YouTube. And that's exactly how I'm doing it. I wonder if you guys, okay, no, you can't see my Ecamm window. Can you see this? Okay, yeah, right there. So I think you can see this. This is exactly what I'm seeing on YouTube or on Ecamm. So I'm able to see all the comments here, and then I can add it to YouTube or turn it off. So pretty cool. Thank you, Ecamm. Do tiers affect current pro members? No, all pro members, you are locked in at the coaching level. So everyone who's joined pro up to this point, you are locked in with coaching, community, and courses. Yeah, tiers do not affect you at all. In fact, a lot of current members may or may not realize that we have a ton of people now in just the courses tier, but you just don't see them because when you join the courses tier, you just get access to the courses. And the goal of that, for anyone who's curious, is I really found out that a lot of members were joining pro and rushing through courses just to feel like they could jump up to coaching and get what they needed. I'm like, that is not the goal. I did not want people to have to rush through courses. I wanted to have an option for people to get my entire suite of courses and the upcoming ones that I'm going to be doing. Going to be doing a lot of mini shops and workshops and mini courses. And that's one of the main reasons I wanted to have the courses tier in particular, was to be able to give people a chance to just take their time, go through the courses, start making some money or better money, and then come up to pro when you're ready to join the community and join the coaching, because we are getting very, very close to capacity on coaching. I've been running pro at this level for many years now. And yeah, I'm about at personal capacity. And then pro is the coaching level will be at a wait list here soon. Oh, look at that. Way to go, Carolyn. Well, thank you so much for this comment. 4 projects a month from 0 last year. All right. Well, first off, I have to screen grab this. Wait, that's so amazing to hear, Carolyn. Way to go. That is awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. Derek, yes, the pro podcast, you have to be a member of pro to get the pro podcast. That's the deal. It is a perk of being in pro. It is a personal invite. But again, we have our tiers now. So even if everyone wants to just join the courses level, you could join the courses tier and then you'll get pro. All of our coaching call replays, all of our monthly training replays in audio in your pocket. If you want my coaching in your pocket, there we go. I need to come up with a better tagline for that. Hey, Kelly, in with a good question. I am moving this month and then going to a new area. Oh, Godspeed, Kelly. My website is optimized for current local area. Do you recommend sticking with my current area or changing my entire site for the new city? Ooh. Mm-hmm. It kind of depends, Kelly, on... Oh, that's a good one. It depends on how far away they are from each other. And then it depends on if you really want to strictly just get going into the new city. I would imagine everything you did for your current city, you could duplicate that and replicate it for the new city. But I would probably start to phase it out unless your old pages, your location pages are getting really good results. That is a tricky one. I'm not going to lie. It's not a deal breaker either way, because I would go the hybrid approach because you don't want to turn off your SEO on the old location, but you also want to probably start to be the web designer in your new location. So yeah, that's what I would do, Kelly, is replicate all those pages just with the new city names, keep those live for a little while. But then if it's conflicting with your new location and Google's confused about, well, where are you, Kelly? You can't be at 2 places at once. Unless you're cloned, then I would say that's probably going to be the best way to go. Yeah. Start with the new location pages and start to phase out the old ones, essentially. Sam says the web design business course, 1,000,000%, 1,000,000%, 1,000,000% worth of $49 a month that Josh is charging for the courses here. Well, thank you, Sam. Yeah, I really wanted to be able to I've just learned that I want to get the information out to everybody. I mean, you guys know I have 90% of my content is free through my YouTube channel, through the podcast, through my newsletter, but the courses are the next level. They are more intensive. They have all the templates and documents and resources. And yeah, guys, everything is available for you now. If you just want to join the courses here, you can go month to month. So a year ago, if you told me that, I would have been like, I don't know about that. Now I'm like, I'm all in. Things are going really well on the coaching tier and the community tier. We've built something really, really healthy with pro. So now I'm like, let's just get these courses out to the world. That's my goal. Yes, and you can come up to the Scale Your Way course, which I have currently set available for everyone in the courses tier too, even if you just want to see what it's like to scale. So yeah, it's available for you now, guys. Leighton backs me up by saying in-person networking is the absolute best way to build a business organically. Listen to him, guys. Leighton right here. Zoop. Leighton has been doing this since 2006. Since what, Leighton? Like early Dreamweaver days, right? So, yeah, someone to listen to. Way to go, Leighton. Pumped to have you in pro, too, one of our newest members. Thank you, David. I'm glad that helped. Hey, Christopher, I keep my ear to the ground and see your YouTube videos all the time. My company's doing quite well, scaling and killing it. Awesome, Christopher. My separate niche marketing agency will be using your concepts to grow. Well, that's awesome to hear, Christopher. I would love to learn more about, especially what you're doing on the marketing side. So listen, man, if you ever want to talk shop directly and get some coaching with me directly, I would love to have you in pro. So any questions, let me know. I would love to learn more about what you've done to get to this point. And then really, really love to know what you're doing on the marketing side, to hear more about if you're doing growth plans or what you're doing there. And then, of course, I'd be happy to share with you and help you through any challenges or anything you're going through. So yeah, man, a pro looks like a good fit for you at any point. You'd be a prime fit for the coaching level, so we could talk directly. Derek, good question. Any interest in starting a Columbus, Ohio WordCamp? I would be, man, I wish there was, I mean, I think it's been since 2016 since we had one here in Columbus, Ohio. I would absolutely do one. Well, I would be interested in co-hosting one for sure. I would absolutely be down to co-host one. I don't know, or like be a sponsor. I don't know if I would start it myself, but maybe like a collab with some other folks in Columbus in the web design world, then that would be really cool. I'd be interested. My focus right now is actually on a Web Designer Pro in-person event, like our first official pro event. Pro members here, heads up. Okay, cat's out of the bag. I'm looking at April right now, because I'm thinking about taking us to a baseball game and doing some events around town. And I don't want the weather to be super nasty. So April could always be rainy, but we're looking at definitely springtime for the pro event. That in mind though, WordCamp would be really interesting. So I'm open to it. I'm open to putting my hat in the ring there. I just need more time. Awesome, Howard. I'm glad that was helpful. Cool, Chantel. Great to hear that. I don't know what I said that got this reaction, Tanisha. I hope I'm saying that right, but I want to know. On the other hand, you have rock solid blackmail material for when they're teenagers. Oh, sorry for the kids. Yep. You're absolutely right. For those who just joined us, I just shared my morning about how my little guy called the cops and we woke up to cops at the door. Coaching on the go, says Carolyn from my tagline. So Josh in your pocket doesn't sound good? Okay, good to know. Kelly, so you're moving from Allentown to Reading, PA, 45 minutes away. So you're actually good. I think within 45 minutes, I would say if you are in an hour zone, then you're okay. So that's good to know, Kelly. I would absolutely just recommend adding on location pages. And you could change it from like you are based in Reading, but you serve clients in Allentown. I'm sure it would be worthwhile a drive for 45 minutes to go to Allentown and meet with some of your best clients and then drive back, especially if you can bulk do meetings. So yeah, I would absolutely keep all those the same since it's in the same vicinity. It'd be different if you're moving from like Columbus, Ohio to Florida or something. But yeah, if you're in the same area, then keep them all the same for sure. Oh my gosh, you guys are killing it with the props for the courses and stuff. Well, thank you guys. 8 years strong of BNI for Leighton, excuse me. That's awesome. Guys, networking is no joke. And I know a lot of people, it takes you out of your comfort zone. If you're introverted, it can be a stretch, but man, if you're doing sales, you have to sell. And one of the easiest ways to sell, and actually one of the best ways to sell as an introvert, is to actually just make a few core connections and have deeper relationships with a few people that have a ton of other people in their network. And that's how it spirals in a good way. And you can get leads. Oh, Carolyn, you're driving through Columbus next week. Anyone want to get together? When are you driving through, Carolyn? We're doing a pro meetup next Friday. Yeah, we're going to be in Dublin, which is right outside of Columbus on Friday. DM me in Pro, Carolyn. Let me know when you're coming through. And look, if you're coming through on a different day, I would love to even just meet up with you for coffee. So let me know, DM me, Carolyn. Let me know the specifics, and then we'll make it happen. Otherwise, we are having a little local Columbus Pro meetup next Friday. Carl B. Anyone remember Front Page? Yeah, that was right before my time. So interesting. Christopher, again, yeah, I would love to hear more about where you're at with your business, talk marketing and talk some shop. So I hope to see you in Pro, man. Any questions, let me know. You can always contact me. Just go to joshhall.co and send a contact form, and happy to answer some questions for you, but would love to get to know you better and go to the next level here. I'm still on the get a little Josh in your pocket. Yeah, I like that too, Mark. I think, look, in the age of AI and corporate stale, bland media, I think we should just go risky. We need to cross that line every once in a while to make sure everyone knows I'm not using AI. Awesome, guys. Thank you, Sam, I think you posted the pro training. Yeah, that would be cool. So just getting caught up on the chat. I think I covered most of the questions so far. So we'll keep going with questions, guys. Feel free to drop any questions you have, whether it's business or web design, trends, anything you are curious about. I am happy and a half to answer any questions you have. Michelle, a good backup on adding location pages. Sounds like a selling point. Yeah. It's an interesting challenge to have a different location, but as long as you're in that same realm, yeah, I would absolutely just add to it. Yeah. Get a little Josh in your pocket with the Pro private podcast feed. Get a lot of Josh there, and then get all the Josh in your pocket. There we go. And we'll see how many people we can deter from our Pro landing page there. Awesome, guys. Well, I did want to mention there was we've had some really interesting chats here in Pro recently, and I kind of wanted to focus one on, and of course I'll be down to answer additional questions here, but one thing that I think this is just a reflection of the state we're in web design right now, but those of you who are doing more marketing services like Christopher, you probably have something similar to where there is a bit of a, almost like a tug and pull between support plans and growth plans. So I'll just be happy to share kind of where I stand on this right now. And that is, if you guys are doing hosting and maintenance plans, you're probably really tempted to do growth plans and marketing services like SEO, like content, and different types of marketing services in your support plan. But I can't recommend enough that you separate those two. There should be a very, very clear line between a support plan, which is just supporting what you've already created on your website, supporting pages that are existing, maybe adding some new things to what's existing, but then a growth plan is going to be a total different wing of strategies and work. Now, it may be adding to the website eventually with new sales pages, funnels, lead generators, etc. But in most cases, I've found that clients turn on and off growth plans and marketing, but you do not want them to turn off your support plans, because support plans are going to be hosting, maintenance. Even if you're not using WordPress, you could do care plans and support plans. We've come up with kind of a cool framework called S.O.S. Actually, I'll show you guys real quick. Eleanor, one of our pro members here, has a great example of this. Let's see. Let me pull her up real quick. For those of you not using WordPress, this is like the best example for how to, got the wrong one on here. Hold on a sec. Let's share the right page. Hey, there we go. So Eleanor has the best example as a Squarespace designer of how to create a support plan package. We actually came up with this together on a Web Designer Pro coaching call that we do weekly. And she wanted to build more recurring income for her current clients outside of her marketing plans. And we came up with this idea together of S.O.S, strategy, optimization, support. Now, my thought was that I always or you could never have a support plan if you didn't use WordPress, because I just assumed you got to update plugins and do security and hosting to have a support plan. But the reality is you can do a lot, even with Wix Studio or Squarespace or other builders, without WordPress. So here's a really good example for those of you who aren't using WordPress, or maybe you're using something alongside WordPress if you're using like Showit or Squarespace alongside it. But I just wanted you guys to see this because this is what she's including in her S.O.S plan: support, strategy, monitoring, traffic reporting, reduced hourly rate, enhancements, all in with her S.O.S plan. You could tier this out, or you could just do one tier. Hers kind of get into growth plan price points, but she's really leaning on like the hours that somebody could utilize her. So it is more support. It's more support versus like a marketing plan style thing. So yeah, I just wanted to show you guys that if anyone is curious about how to do support plans, if you're not on WordPress. Also, if you are curious about the line of where growth and support plans needs to be, my recommendation in short is anything that supports what you already have in place, that's a support plan. If it grows and you're adding new things and you're doing things outside the website, then that's a growth plan. Absolutely love the S.O.S concept, says Carl. Well, yeah, go for it. Try that out, guys. Chantel says, you are a lifesaver. Love the S.O.S plan. Awesome. And again, great way to build recurring income in a support package that clients don't turn on and turn off, ideally. Now, you may have some of those turn on and turn off if you're not using WordPress, because your site's not going to go down if you're not doing that. The beauty about being a WordPress designer with a maintenance plan is if you actually turn that off, their site goes down. So it's almost a guaranteed way to have some recurring income stable coming in if you're hosting sites. But either way, absolutely go with that S.O.S plan. Both Chantel and Carl, highly recommend it. Glad that helps too. Sean says, nice merch. You got some merch too, right, Sean? I think did you get a t-shirt? Let me know. I think you got some merch. Yeah, this is the long sleeve tee, which super cozy. Like it a lot. Again, the Web Designer Pro merch, guys, the comment is in the link is in the comment section. I really recommend picking some up. It's comfy and it's converting. I need to put that on the page. I don't sell pro swag like as a profitable thing. It breaks even with the cost of printing and then shipping, because it's printing on demand. But yeah, I love folks repping Web Designer Pro. And then of course I want you to get leads. Just think about being at a coffee shop and then somebody walks in and they see you with a Web Designer Pro shirt on and they go, oh, Sean looks nice. Handsome fella. Yeah, need to wear that. Need to talk to him. Carolyn has her WP Comfort hoodie. They are comfortable, aren't they? Yeah, I got my wife one last year for Christmas, actually. And I think this year I might get my own because I steal hers. There we go. Derek, you asked what I wanted for Christmas earlier. I want more pro swag. So I just need to buy my own swag. That's what I want. Maybe I'll send links to my family and that way they can pay for it. Yeah, that was the line right there, dude. You nailed it, Derek. It's comfortable and it converts. That is the line. Fergie would like to know, would love your take on websites in a day and websites in a week. This is so timely. Let me show you. Actually, a new member of Pro has a really great model on this. This is just top of mind because I just looked at it today. Now, Rory here, this Web Designer Pro member, and this is really applicable to day, week, etc. And I'll say this before I share my screen. Pros and cons. The pros about website in a day is you can productize it in a way and then have a very, very focused sprint. I will say though, as a web design coach, I know a lot of people trying to move on from this model, or they're just having so many issues with it. You don't have to raise your hand if you don't want to, but just nod to yourself. Have you had issues with websites in a day because they actually don't take a day? They actually take a week or 2 weeks. That's kind of the problem. So my thoughts in short is that if you do website in a day, it needs to be incredibly productized. It needs to be incredibly templatized. And you need to have like rigid, strict boundaries with clients. They absolutely need to have their stuff in on time for you to do it. Otherwise, I like the website in a week approach. If it were me and I were to choose between one of the two, I would do website in a week. It just makes more sense to give a couple days of revisions, but you can still have everything in there. But I want to show you a good example here of a Web Designer Pro member who has a good model of this. Now, this member is actually a Wix user. He uses both Wix Studio and old-fashioned Wix, but he's actually got all of these as an option. Now, he has something that's called a power hour where he'll actually design a site for somebody. It's almost, he doesn't actually do like full builds development all the time, but he will design a whole site as kind of an audit style service for an hour. And then he has a day rate and then a week rate and then a custom rate. So it's actually a pretty good system. If you were to use all of these, if you were to try these out, I would honestly recommend doing this. The recommendation I told Rory is what I'll recommend here, because he has this power hour service, which I think is priced at almost $400. See if the pricing is on here. He gets a lot of these, but he kind of mentioned that these are starting to take over. So my recommendation to him, here you go. So you could buy it per hour or by bundle. I recommended to him that maybe this is something you could turn on and turn off, but your main offers would be website in a day, website in a week, and then a custom build. His start at $5,000 for custom sites. So having this service be a turn on and turn off, it would be kind of cool to cap this too, because you could say, hey, I've got 10 spots open, or maybe I've got 5 spots open this month for a power hour. If you would like to do this, jump on now. Offer ends by the end of the week kind of thing. But this works for him too. But a lot of people are choosing this instead of going for a day rate or a week rate. So yeah, $375 right now for an hour for his power hour sites. And then his rates for these range from, I think, $1,500 all the way up to $5,000 between these. So in short, if I were to do any of those, I actually like the approach, especially if it's in more of a testing feel and kind of, playing around feel. I would do it more like that. I would do more of a, give them the options and then see what's working best for everybody. And yeah, you're totally right. You're totally right, Fergie. Yeah, I feel like a day is only suitable for a landing page. I agree. I mean, look, I could spend, I've spent a day on like 2 sections before. So it kind of depends. But that's where having templates and proven processes is key for that, to do that. Mark said, my screen is too small. Oh yeah. Here's the link. Here's the link for Rory's suite of services with having more of like an hourly option, like little hour package. And then he's got day rates, week rates, and custom. You can still offer landing pages, but people don't care about quick stuff. And most people that want that don't really want to work with them. Yeah. And I think that's kind of what Rory alluded to as well. He's having some problems with his power hour, which is just inviting cheap clients who just want a grab and go kind of thing. That's why I would recommend having a VIP day, a week, and a custom offer if you go that route. And then having like a audit or a lead generator in front of those. Or you could just do custom, which is the model that I loved and rolled with for a long time. I would rather productize the custom site instead of making it time-based with a day or week, because technically you could do a custom build and you could put a week deadline on it if they have everything in there for you. So it's always an option. Or your week and day rate could be a high value upsell for those who have priority needs. If they're like, listen, Josh, we have a custom project, but we need it done ASAP as possible. You could say, well, we do have a weekly option. It's $10,000 for a week kind of thing. Could be more high value, more productized. Chantel, interesting with 2 days. 1 day to build, day 2 launch. Yeah, I wonder, maybe 3. 3 seems a little more, because 3 would feel more like planning, content, build, launch. I wonder if 3, like if you're going to do 2 days, you might as well do 1 with 1 catch-up day. It's kind of like an add-on for a day, website in a day is like after they join, or in the fine print, you could say, we do offer a little bit of time the day after for final tweaks. So I would consider more of a 3-day, but then you're getting probably close to week time. Good to see Alexia in the house. Alexia was on the podcast back on episode 350 here recently talking about her launch plan. And Alexia is actually our guest expert speaker in Web Designer Pro next week, who's going to be sharing the ins and outs of her launch plan, who launched her business getting 3 clients in 2 weeks. So great time to join Pro, guys, because next week you can join that training live. Derek wanted to know, and we'll do a final call for questions. Wow, this was a fast hour. Are there any special surprise podcast guests coming up? Elon Musk and Tim Strifler. Yes, those two are in the same category for sure. Both wise minds. Let's see. Well, I can announce this because I think it's official. I'm actually going to be doing an in-person event in New York City in January. And I just found out that Chris Doe is going to be there. So I'm really excited to meet Chris. And either way, Chris will be on the podcast because I'm repurposing that interview on the Web Design Business podcast. But my hope is that by meeting him, I'll either get in touch with him beforehand or after that to do a one-on-one on the podcast. So Chris Doe, either way, is going to be on the show as long as he comes to that event for sure. As far as being in that panel, where it is a panel about sustainability and avoiding burnout for creatives. So yeah, really excited about that. So either way, Chris Doe will be coming on. I reached out to Seth Godin recently, see if he gets back to me. Amy Porterfield should be coming back on the show. I got the agreement, but then her book launched last year. It was at the same time. So I kind of I reached back out, but then I think there was just a lot going on and she had already done a round of podcast interviews. So I'm going to reach back out to Amy. I would love to have her back on to talk about going full time and quitting your job and the ins and outs and specifics of that for those who are there or interested. So yeah, I would love to get some of those high profile guests on here. And then here's something interesting. I thought about reaching out to Matt Mullenweg. Well, I already have, I just never heard back, but reaching out again, he's busy. I reached out to the team too, never heard back, but I think it would be interesting to talk to Matt and not bring up the WP Engine stuff. I'm sure he's stuck in it and just done with talking about it. I think it would be interesting to hear from him about the future of WordPress outside of that trademark drama and all the WP Engine drama, but just WordPress in general in comparison to the other builders. So I would love to get Matt on and to talk about that. And I would specifically tell him, like, I'm not going to try to like get you in a trap and talk about the WP Engine stuff. But I would like to hear about what he's envisioning for WordPress. Good to see Jessica in the house. A lot of Web Designer pros here. Great to see you, Jessica. All right, guys. Yep, and Carl said, just joined Pro last week. Lots of value included. Really excited to get stuck on. Yeah, it's great to have you, Carl. And listen, there's a lot of UK members coming in. I think I mentioned this in the welcome video I sent yesterday, but man, oh man, do we have some UK folks joining, and it's awesome. I love it. I love seeing my UK web designers in your entrepreneurial spirits, because I know that's not always the norm in the UK. I know sometimes we have a nice little healthy balance between Americans and the British in Web Designer Pro. I mean, you know, our forefathers are just rolling over in their graves, seeing how friendly we are with each other. For anyone have recommendations or courses or videos to create Squarespace or Wix templates? Yeah. Anyone who knows, feel free. I think Brad Hussey has some templates for Wix Studio specifically. I don't know about Classic Wix. Yeah, if anyone knows, though, feel free. Chantel, book flights to New York ASAP. So that is actually all on the folks who are bringing us out to the event. So that's what's extra exciting. I don't need to do a dang thing. They're doing it all. So yeah, I would imagine at this time of year, that's going to be in late January. So it will be after the Christmas and holiday and New Year time. But I would imagine it gets wild there. Probably very expensive too. Carolyn, OMG, Christelle. I know, I am excited. I mean, it's going to be kind of funny. I'm going to have to make sure I'm not, fanboying it. Like, hi, Chris, where are you staying? He's like, oh my God, who invited this freak? Mark says, Alexia, looking forward to seeing who you're able to help with their launching their web design business. Yeah, man, guys, if you have not heard Alexia's interview, and next week, again, she'll be inside of Web Designer Pro, definitely recommend it. Here is the link to her interview, and we're at the top of the hour, so we are going to do a final call for questions, by the way. So here you go. Here is Alexia's interview. Man, guys, put that on your watch or listening list. Even if you're not in a place where you need to launch your business, you've already launched your business, you can take so much from that interview about how to market on social media, how to market locally and with your personal network, and how to launch a product or a new service. You can 100% take what Alexia has done with her launch plan with her business and launch a product like that. So I recommend it. All right, guys. Awesome. Well, we're going to do a final call for questions. Any final questions that have been on your mind? I'll leave a couple minutes here. Well, thank you for coming, Fergie. I hope you enjoyed this. And again, while we're waiting on final questions, I will just give you a quick walkthrough of what we're doing in Pro now, because as I mentioned, if you didn't know, this week we have Web Designer Pro 2.0, which is tiers. So now you can have access to just the courses. If you want time to go through the courses, you want access to all my courses, to get to know more from me, learn what it's about, and get ready to commit to Web Designer Pro as far as being a community member, the courses tier is going to be perfect for you. I do have a roadmap guide. And as I showed you a little bit ago, everyone at any level gets access to the Private Pro podcast feed. It's got all the replays of all of our coaching calls, trainings, replays, everything in the Private Pro podcast feed. So you can indirectly get coaching with me directly just by joining right here on the courses level. So that's available. As I did mention, we are very, very close to capacity on the coaching level, which is time intensive for me because every member at this level can DM me. We do weekly coaching calls, which are now usually an hour to an hour and a half. So this is going to be at a wait list very soon. So those of you who are interested in getting some Josh directly, as Mark would say, if you want Josh in your pocket, you need to join this one ASAP as possible. And we do have the community level now too. So if you feel like you don't need direct coaching yet, but you want to be in the community, you want to build partners, you want to potentially partner up with other pros, you want to join our live trainings, you want to get access to our accountability and challenges, we have Hangouts, you want to join our meetups, the community level is here for you too. You'll still have access to me in the way of being in the forums. It's just not direct DM access or our coaching calls. But yeah, guys, would love to see you in Web Designer Pro. We have these tiers available now with some bonuses there. So would love to see you. And again, the goal of these tiers is to just make it more practical for those of you who want to learn and want to have time with the courses and then want to have the community and then come up to coaching when you're ready, because the coaching is time intensive for me. And as I've told a lot of pro members, I am dead serious about protecting my sustainability, and I want to show up fresh. I want to continue to be open and really be able to do coaching. Like I just showed you Rory's site with the Wix designer with his packages. Like that's what we do with the coaching level is I will look at your site, look at your offers, give my recommendations. We'll make a plan and move forward and kind of go from there. I just helped Anik, one of our members out. She sent me, I think I posted this on the socials last week. Anik, who had a lot of questions about this huge potential project. She was giving me some pricing ideas, and I was like, listen, you need to be at least 5,000, maybe 10,000 for this. So she sent a proposal out for 8,000 after consulting with me and nailed it. She got it. She did it. So if you guys didn't see that, I'll show you real quick and then we'll do final questions. Yeah, right here. Oop. So yeah, Anik hit me back last week and let me know that the quote was accepted. And it was for $8,000. So in her currency, huge project for Anik, who is an early stage web designer, by the way. So, on the coaching level, like, yeah, I might help you make $5,000 or $10,000 in a heartbeat, and it'll be definitely worth the price of admission. So would love to see you in pro at any level with what works for you. I'm really excited about that. And thank you, pro members, for being so supportive and excited about that as well. You guys have, made that just so easy on me to make that transition and kind of open it up. And Jeremy, I know you were in pro for a little while. Yes, I hope one of those tiers works for you with where you're at in your journey. So anyone who wants to jump in pro, now is a great time. Michelle, what are your predictions for 2025? We'll do this as our final question. Excuse me. Let me think about this one. Just taking a drink as I'm thinking. I would say, I think it'll be a really good year for web design for sure. I think the past couple years have been, I think it'll be a year of refining all of these things. I don't know if there's anything that's going to be new per se. Like the past couple years, accessibility has been, it's not been new, but it has been new as far as being like one of the main things that people are focusing on. Same thing with privacy. And optimization was prior to that with optimization and speed and conversion. But AI, of course, has really popped up for the last 2 years as well. So those big three, AI, accessibility, and privacy, were kind of new, especially as far as like being lead offers over the past couple of years. I think 2025 is going to be much more refining those. And it's going to be focused on working those in as kind of the broad spectrum and suite of courses for web designers or services for web designers. I mean, so I do think it's a good year. I don't foresee like many new things in 2025. I think it'll be where do we do all this? SEO, you mentioned SEO. I'm actually taking SEO very seriously. Some of you know on our coaching call this week in pro, I mentioned that now that I have webdesignerpro.com, the URL, I'm going to be starting a new SEO strategy, which is to start putting content on webdesignerpro.com. But this is a massive SEO change and a huge strategy change. So I'm actually consulting with Michelle Berbiniere, our local SEO guru and pro. Many of you pros know her well. Next week, we're going to be chatting one-on-one. I might repurpose that long chat for the podcast just because I'm open to sharing what I'm doing in transparency, going from more all personal brand to more of a dedicated brand under Web Designer Pro. So all that to say, like, I'm really looking at SEO and what's working right now. I actually think there's even more room for blogging and really good meaty articles that can be referenced and repurposed on social media, whether with video or just with audio or just with text. So I'm all in on SEO. Even I'm more hopeful for SEO. I like to think about SEO like real estate. Like when it comes to terms like web design business, getting clients for web design, pricing, my goal is to kind of own the real estate on those, or at least, be on the top tier of those. So that's my personal goal. So yeah, let me know if that helps. Great questions, Michelle. Okay, I lied. We're going to do one final question because it's so good, from Jason. Last question of the day. Interested in getting into web design, but I have a feeling that it's oversaturated and will be tough to get clients. What are your thoughts? A really, really common fear and objection, Jason. So don't think you're alone in feeling like that. The good news is you couldn't be more wrong. The reality is, yes, there's a lot of web designers, but it doesn't mean there's a lot of good web designers. And it doesn't mean there's a lot of web designers who are thinking like a business owner. And the reality is, let's say you just wanted to make a 6-figure business. You could make a 6-figure business with 12 clients if you really wanted to. You could make a 6 and multi-6-figure business with 24 clients. So you don't need to think about this in terms of the world. Think about it in your local area first off, because you could stop there. You wouldn't even need to go further than that. But if you want to go further, the thing to remember is that there are new businesses opening all the time. And economically, I think we're going to see a big boom here, especially into 2025. I think inflation is going to go down. I know some people have been holding on to their wallets and stuff, but my gut instinct is that there is going to be more and more, not even stateside, but just globally, economically. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity, and it's a great time to get into web design. Even apart from that side of things, like the reality is the world is huge. You do not need that many clients as a web designer. So I understand that fear and that mindset, Jason, but I would really encourage you to, like surround yourself with people like here. And if you're able to jump into pro one day that suits you, you'll see that there is plenty of opportunity, plenty of opportunity. And it's going to continue to do so. The cool thing about web design too, last note on this, is that you're not just designing websites. Like, you are going to get into more aspects of online entrepreneurship and digital web. That is not just design. You're going to get into conversion. You're going to get into SEO. You're going to get into copy in some way. And a lot of these things, if you enjoy marketing, you can pick and choose what you want to do in certain niches you want to serve. So, there's honestly no better time to jump into. I really strongly believe that. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. We've got so many members of Pro here who are absolutely killing it at rates of 5, 10, 20, 30K plus for packages. So the world is your oyster. It's really an exciting time. And then a lot of web designers are almost becoming like semi-coaches now and consultants to their clients. So we looked at like Eleanor's site a little bit ago. She's kind of a consultant for her clients. So the world is going to continue to need web designers and continue to need trusted web people. Keep in mind too, Jason, a lot of web designers are flaky and disappear. So as long as you don't flake or disappear, you're already ahead of probably like the bottom 50% of web designers. I do have a free guide if anyone wants. This might be perfect for you, Jason. I don't know if you have picked this up yet, but I do have a free guide. It's a 10-step action plan for starting your web design business. So I put that in the chat for you. I'd recommend picking that up for sure. It's right here. It is literally a 10-step action plan. Going to cover tool stack options, what you need to know to get started, offers, pricing strategies, how to build a portfolio, and some basics on how to get clients. So anybody who would like that, feel free. Oh, I completely forgot I added these in here too. I'm also going to give you my web design process checklist, so you can take that to help you get going. And that'll give you a good start, and then hopefully I'll see you in Web Designer Pro to make those dreams a reality, man. All right, guys. Well, hey, this has been great. This has been a super fast hour. Was this fast for anyone else? Super fast. Thank you guys for jumping on with me today. Great questions. We'll be doing more of these moving forward. I'm going to continue to support all of my legacy students and folks who want to join here live. And again, this is the kind of thing we're doing in Web Designer Pro. Our weekly pro coaching calls are more intensive. We do like coaching hot seats and website reviews, but enjoying doing these AMAs. And I hope this was helpful for everyone here live and everyone who's watching the replay. So if you're watching the replay, as they say in Friends, I'll be here for you too. All right, guys. Thanks for joining. Any final comments, drop them in the chat right now, but it's been a dang pleasure and really enjoyed your questions. Thoughtful questions, great chat. This was kind of perfect. This was like just a amount to be able to keep up with for an hour. So this was great. Really appreciate you guys' questions. And as always, Web Designer Pros, thank you for jumping on. And last note, Web Designer Pro tiers are live. So to go to webdesignerpro.com, jump in at the level that suits you. And I can't wait to help you build and grow scale your business this year and beyond, because my gosh, 2025 is going to be super exciting. I really believe that. No, you cannot disable GIFs. No, I wouldn't want to do that anyway, because I love GIFs. So maybe there's a way, but I love GIFs. So the GIFs are happening. Is there an accessibility thing with GIFs? Maybe that's it. Let me know. Let me know, Derek. All right, guys. Good to see you. I'll see you. For those in Pro, I'll see you over in Pro. And otherwise, I'll see you guys on the next AMA that we do here on YouTube. Cheers, everybody. Oh, good to see Chris, by the way, too. Chris, my tech VA in the house, who was a huge part, by the way. Last thing. This could not be more of a Midwest goodbye. But I got to give a special shout out to Chris, who is an absolute magician, a guru, and just an amazing tech VA. Chris and I have been working together for years now. So Chris was a huge part in the tiers for Pro, because she worked on all the Zapier automations and a lot of the intricacies for upgrading and downgrading. There was a lot native and pro available in Circle, but we had to kind of glue some things together because I have a really custom setup with what's available. So Chris, thank you. Everybody give Chris a round of applause if you would, or a digital high five. She is a huge part to what's going on with Web Designer Pro. So Chris, thank you publicly. Yeah, I literally couldn't do it without you. So I said it to you personally. I want to say it publicly. Couldn't do it without Chris. Jeremy, appreciate you, man. Good to see you. Good to see everybody. All right, guys. See you on the next live stream. Have a great rest of the week.